welcome to another episode of Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritty, and I love sharing with you the conversations I get to have with talented and passionate chefs. It's the backstory, if you will, to the food they're putting up. I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of the land where this conversation takes place. Land which was never ceded, land where communities came together to eat seasonally, locally, and without exhausting resources. I pay my respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. Today I'm chatting to Adrian Lee and Danny Natoli from La Madonna at Next Hotel. I'm a big fan of La Madonna. I love the glorious golden chandelier hanging in the spiral stairwell. I love the dining room that manages to feel cosy and enveloping despite its size. And I love the story behind the name. When Danny Natoli first walked into the space while it was being built, he was so impressed by the scale of the room and the possibilities of it that he let out a La Madonna, and the name stuck. I spoke to Danny and Adrian for Broadsheet when the restaurant opened, and I'd already had a chef chat to Adrian a few years ago when he was still at Saigon Sally and Tokyo Tina. I've always loved running into him and catching up. Danny and Adrian are friends as well as colleagues. They put up incredible food together, bouncing ideas off each other and working together to create dishes and create the kind of hospitality they love, making people feel welcome and a part of things. I felt as though they were my friends when we did the Broadsheet chat, and catching up with them again now was an absolute treat. Plus, their banter is top notch. I thought I was just going in for a chat, but I got a whole performance art piece and a delicious drink because Danny made tangelo martinis and served them in the skins. We talked authenticity and seasonality in the European sense, and we talked about their Sunday La Famiglia lunches of 3 courses, beautiful Italian-inspired food with bottomless carafes of wine. Now, I've included all the cocktail-making shenanigans at the start, which I think really set the scene. I don't know, maybe they won't work if you weren't there. Do feel free to skip ahead about 4 minutes to the actual chat, but you'll really miss out on some excellent Adrian and Danny repartee if you do that. Let's go. Hi, Adrian. How are you?
How you going?
Good. Nice to see you. Where was I before? Just here.
Adrian told me I wasn't invited.
Oh, do you want to be? Hello.
Is that actually true? Is that actually true?
No, you can. This is good. 2 for the price of 1.
That's the best way.
Awesome.
What cocktail would you like? Kevin's going to make them for the journey.
Really? Awesome. What do you
Get a
think?
flask.
Yeah. Flask for the podcast journey.
Tangerine martini?
That sounds amazing.
Maybe I'll make it.
God.
With Jennifer, we've got new ice cream at Jennifer.
Thank you.
Where are we setting up?
Where do you want to be?
I want to be in Italy.
Oh.
Barroom?
Okay, well that's beyond my... Yeah.
Barroom. Oh, serve it in the tangelo shell. It's very tropical, not like cold Melbourne.
Yeah. I love it.
Yes.
This is how they do it.
A new cocktail. A very fun cocktail with the new seasonal tangelos that have just come into season. They're from a little lovely citrus farm in Wandon called Rainers.
Main ingredient of citrus, ice cream.
Yes. Delicious.
That's not olive oil? No, it's not.
Chartreuse. Tangelos are so great. They've got such a great flavour.
Juicy, yeah.
So juicy. In fact, that's how they're described. Juicy at the expense of flesh is how they're described.
So,
You're from New Zealand, in New Zealand,
It's not the same thing.
I think I need the Jennifer.
I did, but that's, you need a gin to...
Isn't Jennifer gin that one?
All the bins, all the bins.
You're going to pour the drink like this.
Yeah, you can.
At the table, Kev, you're going to put a hole in it and it'll drip down like a Vietnamese coffee. That ties in all of it together. Italy, Vietnam, it's where we both rather be. Nice near earring.
So there was no Instagram.
Next hotel.
No garnish needed. That is the garnish.
It's in the garnish.
Pepper maybe?
Oh.
I'll get some water too.
I feel honoured to be part of this.
Still not sparkling. We do hospitality here.
That's right, it's all encompassing.
I still think you should be like poke the hole through and let it drip. And by the time
I see what you're saying, yeah.
poke a hole through it, let it drip, and by the time it
Then
filters
it gathers
all
on
the,
fire like a
then
zombie.
it
Drink,
gathers the pith,
Yeah.
and then it has that.
infusion. This is a real drink.
Alright, well I'm glad we're...
Conceptualizing.
Yeah. So do I pour something more alcoholic on
Collaboration?
top, light it on fire, and then stab it in?
No, that's
Yes.
not. Oh, yes.
Yes, that's showy. That's nice and very.
Got a lighter?
Will I die?
In a good way.
Yeah.
Kevin's not into the fire idea.
No, Kevin's.
Store if you want, but I'm just
Thank
gonna
you.
go for it.
Okay.
I'm gonna attempt to drip.
You are?
Okay. Wow. That's good.
Refreshing, yeah. A lot of alcohol in that as well, but it's still
It
refreshing.
doesn't taste like alcohol. It doesn't taste alcoholic. Dangerous.
Jeniper, there was 3 shots of gin, 2 shots of Jeniper, 3 shots of Jeniper.
This is nice.
I haven't done any knows. Anyway,
So I was looking back on the last time I did a conversation with the chef with Adrian. It must have been 2015 or 2016.
It's a while ago.
Been-
And Saigon was still open.
Yeah. And you'd been, at that stage, you'd been a chef for 6 years. And now you've been a chef for ages. So I think it's good to catch up with, because you've come a long way. And I was also interested to read, because I don't think I really paid that much attention to it when you said it then, because you were saying you were cooking Windsor Asian food. But that your real love was Italian food, and that your Italian food was much better than your Asian food. And I thought that was really interesting, because a lot of the times in Broadsheet and different, food places, they describe you as the Hong Kong street guy.
Yeah, I think it's just because people just laugh. It was like Chinese chef who could cook Italian food.
Yeah,
But people forget that the pasta came from China.
true.
Not gonna react.
true. Maybe true. Who knows? What if the Chineses went there and said, "Hey, this is you're doing your noodles all wrong. Let's collaborate a little bit." It's very undisclosed.
Yes, it's not very well documented. This
So-
Marco Polo guy.
So my question is this your spiritual home now? Or
I think Rena's would be always our
Rena's.
spiritual home.
Yeah.
But this is just probably new challenge for us. Like taking a small restaurant in Armadale and then timesing it by 8 and creating something in the city that we both always wanted to work in the city, and just to see if we can cut our knuckles in the big smoke.
yeah.
But explore completely unique cuisine, like stuff where it's no one's saying, "Oh well, what you can't like." Oh, I've got an Italian dude. I don't even want to talk about him, but like someone who is so traditionalist that just the idea of putting yuzu with a pasta or putting miso in a salad dressing in an Italian restaurant would just be like they couldn't. Their blinkers are on so much to the traditions of Italian cuisine, whereas we don't have that. Like we'll have it as a conversation where we'll be like, you're out of your mind. We're not putting fermented shrimp with a pasta dish. What's the point? But then that's probably why we've got a more unique set of customers here as well that come in and say, "Oh, this tastes like the Chinese lobster noodles,
So you have
not
weddings.
like a." But then it's with al dente spaghetti and beautiful olive oil and a little bit of lemon zest rather than MSG.
Yeah.
I don't know, like it's a chance to where you haven't had it's like a development in culture of food, I think, that's what I'm seeing.
And a higher elevation of a viewpoint of a cuisine. Like, if you take a look at it, like Japanese cuisine and Italian cuisine are both relatively simple, and they have the highest respect for the raw ingredient. And then why not be able to link them together? Just like how Vietnamese cuisine focuses a lot on acidity and raw ingredients, and Mexican cuisine also does the same. So both cuisines
It's
have a synergy to them at that high level.
That's right. I don't even know if this comes into this conversation, but I've been having conversations with people lately about what does authenticity mean? Because I spoke to Rasheen Kaul about her book Chinese-ish, and they talk a lot about with making and maybe also at like daughter-in-law and so on, where they talk about inauthentic food. Is there a need to say that if you are at that level and you are really good at what you do and you've got ideas from one cuisine and you're using products that match that flavour profile or maybe even textures or things that work together, do you have to clarify and say I'm not being authentic, but this is my food?
I don't think you do these days in Melbourne.
No.
Like, it's just an inaugural part of the cuisine that everyone is acceptance of other people's cultures, and the fact that you can have one cuisine that bleeds into another and it's more beneficial. Like, in the traditionalist form, like, my mum would be like, no, this must be done a certain way, but then she's had a dish that I've created with more modern interpretations of it, and she's like, what is this? And I'm like, it's just your fermented tofu that you normally eat with rice, but I just made the mayonnaise with it. And then she was just like, this is delicious. I was like,
yeah.
And not having the same food culture that places like China and Italy have, where the focus is, even around festivals or something, where there's like a mid-autumn festival where everyone will just sit down and have the hairy crabs or something, and that's, got to do with the seasons, got to do with the moon, got to do with, but then that's what they eat in that season. The same thing happens in Italy with the different sagras and markets where they'll have the truffle festivals, the porcini festivals, and up north they'll have just radicchio for a whole season where everything is radicchio.
Yeah.
But is it because that Melbourne's a big city that you don't have that dynamic focus on season, or is it because Australian food culture hasn't developed that way? Like,
there's not enough of one demographic to create that.
Oh, and then there's not a certain product that's just produced and celebrated in those seasons. I think that's what it has a lot to do with. Like, if we produce radicchio, we're going to have radicchio and fontina with risotto. We're going to have radicchio and fontina in tortellini.
Like farming communities, something that's grown throughout them. Yeah.
And then they just sell that. And then even in the supermarkets, they'll just focus on that in their, seasonality products in the supermarkets. If it's a supermarket there, they'll just be radicchio and something tortellini, which we don't see that here. There's an aisle for every country. There's an aisle for everything.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that, because I do know, and certainly in France as well, asparagus is in season, then they really celebrate it, and they have a way of eating asparagus. You tip your plate up and make a vinaigrette and dip it in and all that kind of thing, and then they don't eat it in other seasons. Is that because I lived in a rural part of, or a smaller village part of France? Do you think in big cities around the world it's the same as Melbourne, or is it, across Europe, are they like that they are super seasonal?
In Europe, I'd say much more so.
Yeah.
Because it's ideally your food revolves around the seasons.
That's right.
That's the way it's supposed to be. Like the biodynamics of it, the cost of it, why you wait for a certain time of the year to eat asparagus. Like, you're not going to have a poached egg and asparagus salad right now in Melbourne. Soon we will, but right now it doesn't make any sense. It's coming from but you see the focus and the demand come from supermarkets, where there's a asparagus farmer in Kuirap, the Corsini family, I think, who have 700, huge focus on just asparagus. But then this time of the year they import asparagus from Mexico, and their demands it's probably more for the supermarket's fault, which then goes on to the consumer. But the supermarket's bought an elastic band and a bit of a label that has to wrap around this and can't be longer than 12 centimetres or something. So if they weigh more, they're not getting paid for it. But if they weigh less, they're like, we won't take it. So whether chefs are a problem with that as well, for having demands for perfectly shaped veggie, but there's another big push to have that ugly, delicious food, and not worrying about if a banana curves the other way,
Or you need to trim off the ends of a piece of lamb. Just everything goes on the plate because everything costs lots of money these days.
Well, that's right. I was even listening to Michael Harden the other day on Triple R, and he was talking about how 3D printing is now being brought into using waste food products to make
Don't tell her this.
crackers and things.
Well, as well, imagine if we were like chefs growing up as well, like what you put on the plate. The weighing the wastage always had to be a cost involved as well. Like what was the wastage and cost that into the dish. But why would as well? Like there was a point as well when we were both cooking where I would say, well, all right, well that's got to look different on the plate. And like, well, why? Why are you cutting up a beautiful whatever piece of fish it was? Why are you cutting up a piece of kingfish and squaring it off? And like, if you're not chopping those other little bits up and making a crudo, or you're not using that for something else, why are you chopping it off the plate then? Just to make it look cute and squared out and
Clean.
Yeah.
So you've moved away from that?
Yeah, definitely, big time. Like,
Were you ever in it?
for sure.
Yeah.
like just being taught that way, and
Yeah.
this is how you cut a duck breast, this is how you cut a piece of lamb rump. The bits on the end are overcooked or it looks funny. It doesn't display how nicely you've cooked the inside of a steak. Like, that doesn't really matter anymore. Like, what matters is what goes on the plate and what's it with at the time.
Yeah.
If you want consumers to understand maybe what we're starting to understand. Like if but the beauty of the ingredient is all there. Like that bit would usually probably be cut up and chopped up into a staff meal, or we eat it. But why not have it on the plate if they've paid for it?
Yeah.
So then, is it your job or your role to educate consumers, or can you just present that and then hope that eventually people will be okay with that?
Yeah, I think you don't need to stuff it down people's faces that this is how food should look these days, but as well as you present it and the flavours there and cooking techniques there, and like it's a carefully comprised dish, then people will be like, oh, amazing.
It's an ongoing conversation because you want to talk about the culture of, I think creating the culture around seasons is still forgotten in a lot of cases. Like even if you have like a menu like we had today where you're like, oh, why does the menu change so often? Well, because the seasons change so often, or, and what do
And
other
the weather changes.
and the weather changes, or cost of things change. If there's floods and you're not reactive to,
You could be paying $80 for a corn one week for in a box, and the next week's $140.
yeah, your cabbage side that you're paying $2 for is now $9.70, and you've still got it on the menu for $14.
Yeah.
Like if you're not quickly reactive to those things, you're left more out of pocket.
And are you able to do that in a hotel setting?
We're definitely trying.
Yeah.
Which is, we've learnt a lot about learning cooking with the seasons from us being at Rena's, but then I guess it's more that for everyone else to catch up to where we are and how quickly we can react. Everyone is like, oh, why? Why are you doing so many menu changes? It's like, because in the time that we choose to do it, we're saving you at least $400 a week.
Yeah. And was that, I mean, we've talked about this previously, but, this whole restaurant chefs coming into hotels, there was a wave of that just before COVID. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was just before COVID. And the adjustments that is necessary, because it is a different way of maybe thinking, is it? Or can you just be you and be restaurant
I think
chefs?
the corporate environment that the hotels use as their backbone is probably more structured in terms of the way they want to see a flow of how the business is run. But what's beneficial for them is restaurant chefs are more reactive, and the chain of command is a lot shorter for things to happen. So what we can do in a hotel is probably bring it forward. And instead of having that stagnant feel that hotels do have sometimes, we can shorten that period and give a bit more vibe to the place.
And Danny, you're still at Rena's quite a lot, is that? And Adrian, you're mainly here?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be there half an hour ago.
Oh, thank you for making cocktails and being here. So how do you feel divided because they're quite different places, or are you able to?
Insanely.
Yeah.
But the contrast is now even more important maybe to reflect on, or understanding the roles that little restaurants like that play in community, or play in helping to understand the strategies that we took there to bigger business, or then also understanding how bigger business structures work, and can they, can it go vice versa, or but as well, like the personality that the people, the reason we got involved in this place was because they liked the personality of there, so they want to, if you could have a cookie cutter experience from Rena's and bring that here, it was what they wanted. But how do you do that when there's
the soul of the restaurant is still the same. The ideals that we have from when we opened it are the same, but then we just have to adjust to the environment of a big corporate business, and the fact that the people who are coming through here is so transient. There is a core clientele that we get, but then everyone else just comes back and forth, and they experience the hotel in a different way. And some people are looking for the classic hotel experience, but they come here and they get quite a big surprise. Whereas, like, the dish I had last time when I was here in summer is no longer on the menu. Like, I could always get this dish at the Sofitel. It's like, yeah, we don't do things like that here.
Yeah. And so you're not having to do BLTs to room service, or
No.
Yeah.
worse?
Yeah.
But also understanding that the difference between a diner in Melbourne, like maybe we're pretty clued in with what we like, or what we think a restaurant diner would like in Melbourne, or a foodie type diner would like. But then if you've got a foodie diner is completely different to an in-room diner. Like someone who's in between meetings, someone who's flying in, flying out for 45 minutes sometimes, like they've got an hour for a meal. They can't even leave their room, and they just feel like a fish burger. Like it should be a good fish burger, but that's what they feel like. We don't have to say, all right, you have some il parfait on crostini, and like that's not what they feel like.
Stracciatella stuffed into
how do you
the
cater
tomato.
to that? From what?
We do a fish burger.
Yeah.
When we first opened, we were like, no, this is not what people want.
Yeah.
People want this because they wanted that because they didn't have any other option. But then as we went on the year in, we were like, people just want fish and chips and burgers in their rooms and soups. And it was humbling to understand that that's
Because maybe it's that comfort thing, isn't it? Because they're away from home, as you say. They're not staying here for a long period of time necessarily and wanting to have that whole gourmet experience. They just want comfort and something
easy,
warm and easy in their stomach. Yeah, wow.
Fries.
How great are fries?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Yeah.
It's Danny's weakness.
Yeah. And how's all the pickling and hanging of meats and things going?
Good.
Yeah.
Cultivating some great white mold on an old deer leg.
Yeah.
It looks great in the fridges.
Yeah.
But as budgets changed even here as well, like when you open up a hotel in the middle of a world crisis, and they're like, oh well, we're going to expand artwork, and there'll be this and there'll be that. If all of a sudden that disappears, then artwork became colourful pickle jars, and that became a usable part of the decoration that people are looking at. It's a curiosity point.
People come in and they're like, can we try those? It's like, yeah, sure. Go to the table, grab a few jars, like, what do you want to try? It's like that one. Like, go to the table and just try it.
That's definitely a secret menu item. All of the jars are a secret menu item.
Yeah. Not so secret anymore. Yeah, wow. Okay. Right. And I know that, I mean, Adrian came from an IT background, but clearly had so much creativity, and it seems like you were made to be a chef. You just love it so much. But did you always know you wanted to be a chef?
Starting in hospitality, probably not. I started as a kitchen hand, probably like 16, and then did a little bit of bar work, worked at, but yeah, always ended up feeling like I was wanting to be in the kitchen. I think I started in the bar at Phoenix years ago, and then that was a time where there was some incredible chefs in the kitchen there. There was like a Raymond Capaldi in there. He had this sort of way about him that was well and truly recognised in the industry, but as well, like you just start to pick up a few little jobs from the kitchen or picking herbs in the bar, and then I wanted to be in the action in there, and that was a long time ago.
And I mean, obviously you work pretty well together. You're friends, you work pretty well together in the kitchen. That's great, and you must bounce ideas off each other, and off your team, I guess. And be inspired from seasons, but like, is that how it works? Like, how do you go about coming up with these menus that you're doing, different seasonal things, and adapting? How do you come up with dishes when you're having to adapt on the fly like that?
I think the fact that we've worked together from the same places to begin with, like we both started at Donovan's, and then our interests are the same, and we've worked together for so long that we know each other quite well. And our creative process, no one else really understands. It's kind of like a sibling bond where as soon as Danny says something, like in the creations of these drinks, like I was just saying random stuff to him, like from your point of view, I was just like rambling stuff at him. Yeah. But in that point, like he is processing those ideas and understanding where I'm coming from, and then choosing what points ideas to say yes to and what points to unincorporate. Yeah. And then from there, like people have stared at us many times and been like, what just happened there? We just created a dish.
We just both want it to be good. At the end of it, we just both want it to be really good.
Tasty.
We can criticise each other however much we think how it tastes, if it's madness, if it's if it doesn't work as well.
Gone too far,
the weirdness
how
can work, how weird the weirdness shouldn't work, but it does. But as long as it's good, but then being able to talk about like the next levels of the palatable ingredients, I think is the fun bit. Like how you can add a little bit of a obscure ingredient that changes the salinity a little bit, or can increase the bitterness, or serving that just now in this when we tried it before in a glass, we'd have like, I think increase the bitterness when we tried it in a glass half an hour ago before you got here. But the increase the bitterness came with serving it with the pith.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more punchy than it was when we tried it in a glass before. It's more complex. Yes, yeah.
That's fun. I think that's amazing. So
we don't get to do that probably enough right now.
Yeah.
Because that's another story. Like another story is like working out how to manage such a big operation and still do fun little things, like taking half an hour to create a cocktail in a tangelo that's just coming into season. Like this is the fun bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I guess you got to have moments like that, don't you, to keep sparking. But do you think about food 24/7?
I think it's a big part of our life.
Yeah.
Like we're both quite open-minded, and we'll always try what the other gives us or has a suggestion. Like we'll never really say no unless one of us is quite hungover or doesn't feel that well. Like we'll always try.
Yeah.
And that comes across everything, like new alcohols, new ingredients, and we both will, as soon as we taste, instinctively we'll have ideas that spring into our minds quickly, and we know that those ideas, because how well we know each other, can synergize.
And then also like little moments like this that we create if we do have certain customers that come in, like that's why we get a good return of business in both places, is because of little things like this. If we go and do it to a table or making a scroppino at the table with fresh gelati and prosecco and vodka, and like just making it at the table without anyone saying, "Oh, I really would feel like a scroppino right now." Like a table of 10, and you're there whipping with a whisk. And
there was a table of 10 that wanted dessert, and we wanted to do something special with them. We both went our separate ways to the kitchen, came back. Someone had prosecco, someone had ice cream. It was like scroppino. It's like scroppino. Went to the table and just did it without really much more effort than that.
Ladles of scroppino in little piccolos, like.
But that's that whole personality thing, isn't it? And it's your personalities, but it's bringing a little bit of that local thing from like Rena's into here, for example, or people love that kind of personal touch, I think, don't they? And having a bit of an insight into your personalities.
Yeah.
Well, and theatre in restaurants is often not there. Like the way a room feels, or if you go to the Peking duck restaurant we visited in Macau, like watching the ducks cook in a big wood-fired oven, and then them coming over with a trolley and carving a duck at the table. Like there's often a lot of theatre that is not in a restaurant anymore. Like it's a sommelier getting creative with their chat about wine, or it's where does the theatre come from in a restaurant if it's not just on the plate?
Yeah.
Like how can you create a memorable experience that probably won't be done even here again? Like that moment happened then.
Yeah.
They're fun memories for
and it's not even primarily just for that table. The other tables around were like, "Oh, what the hell's happening there? Who are these guys, and why are they making a mess?"
Yeah.
And then it's a chance to offer as well. Like it's a sharing moment. I think that's the more you can share at a table. And
the tables around
and the
you.
dining room, it's engaging. Like a lot of places in Melbourne, 15 years ago, before people like maybe Frank Camorra and those other famous Thai restaurants, people wouldn't share up at the bar, or there wouldn't be a conversation of guys, you should get the betel leaves. Here, try my one. Or there's make sure you have the something from the raciones section. That's make sure you get the truffle bresaola and egg yolk. Like that, people weren't really sharing moments in a restaurant. It was your two knives and fork and your meal.
Which is the flip side of hospitality, isn't it? So hospitality is what you guys do and create and look after people and feed them. But then I reckon the flip side of the receivers could be, that's that community feeling, and that feeling of being part of something. And as you say, the theatre, that's more of the experience, I think, than just when the food can be excellent, but then if you don't have some of those other memorable, how do you remember those things? You know?
Like every dining experience just starts to bleed into another one.
Yeah.
Wow. That time that we went to Rena's,
yes,
and someone's hair caught on fire. And then everyone got around to Prosecco's just to get rid of the smell. It was fun.
Did that actually happen?
Bits and pieces. I don't know. It blends into one another. It could be multiple days.
Terribly placed candle. And maybe some hairspray.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad we didn't do any lighting of things here today. Just as well. So let's just talk about the Sunday family lunches, just because I loved coming and eating that food. So just go through the dishes again, so that if people are listening and they are looking for that cosy Sunday experience, you've got it here. It's an unlikely place, perhaps, to come to a hotel on a Sunday lunch, but the room, for all its size, is very cosy.
Yes,
with those foods and things.
Colours and the tones are really warm. The materials are very warm, but we're just trying to create an experience. After COVID, we felt like what we missed the most was company of our family and friends. So we wanted to create a place that wasn't too rowdy for people to come with their families and just enjoy each other's company, as much as they hate each other or not.
And so the food all just comes out on the table and people share.
Yeah, so we're doing more of an Italian style.
And less choice. Like that's the main thing.
Yeah.
I think that people who haven't been able to get together for a while, the last thing families want to do is sit down, look at the menu, decide what they like, who likes this. If all the dietaries are taken care of course, like there's not a dietary that we haven't heard of or can cater to. But yeah, what is it? It's usually like a couple of antipasti, a pasta, beautiful big joint of meat. So it won't always necessarily be a T-bone, but it's a well cooked shared piece of protein, and the chance to just really focus on your company. Like that's and the guests are the ones who create the experience. If you go out for dinner, you should always be able to create how you enjoy it. Like, and if you don't want to have a bottomless carafes, you can order a beautiful bottle of just about whatever you want. Like there's the bottomless carafes are fun, but if you want something a little bit more serious to enjoy, there's a beautiful wine list.
Yeah, we just started the new winter menu that's starts with the charcuterie, some nice in-house focaccia, a couple of rossini sticks, some beautiful olives from Tolunka Creek, and then stracciatella with spring onion and ginger, cured kingfish with red cabbage ponzu and caviar, and then moving on to pasta alla matriciana, and then going on to the T-bone and some Brussels sprouts. And then finishing with tira.
Delicious. So good. Thank you. I think we would leave it there. I think that's a great chat. We've talked all about it.
Yes,
We've meandered. It was a voyage. It definitely was a journey, and the cocktail helped.
Yes,
Good, nice buzz. Thank you. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Conversation with a Chef with Adrian Lee and Danny Natoli at La Madonna. If you want to experience all the greatness for yourself, which of course you do, you should check out their Sunday lunches, as well as a great duck dinner, which is coming up on August the 10th. Have a look at La Madonna Melbourne, that's all one word, La Madonna Melbourne, on Instagram, or the Next Hotel Melbourne website. As for me, I'm also on Instagram at Conversation with a Chef, and if you want to read the chat, you can head to www.conversationwithachef.com. Do you know how much I would love it if you told a friend about my chats? And you can follow me on Apple and Spotify podcasts. Once again, thanks for listening and have a great day.